Hi everyone, my name is Christina. Today I'm here with my Qigong teacher, Linda Chu, and the topic for today we will be delving into what is Qi, energy, matter, information, how to heal our body through these meditative states. And I just wanted to give you a little bit about a background, where I know Linda from, and then we'll delve deeper into the topic. So Linda is a teacher of mine. I met her first about 7 years ago at Pacific College, where I was studying at the time massage therapy, focusing mostly on the Eastern therapies like Tui Na, medical Chinese massage, as well as Shiatsu and Thai massage, together with the Western styles. And Linda happened to be a Qigong teacher in the program. And that's when I was first exposed to her knowledge, to her fabulous grounded energy that I just resonated with so much. Because even when you're a body worker, or if we're studying, like I continue to study Chinese medicine, there's a lot of good teachers out there, but really you have to find someone who resonates with you, who resonates with your energy and the style that works for you. So Linda was one of those teachers for me, and I've continued to be in touch with her. I take her online classes now, and yeah, so I just wanted to give it up to Linda for being here with me today. So Linda, can you just give our audience a little bit about your background, where you're from, how did you come to study the energy medicine, acupuncture, and all of that stuff?
Well, thank you, Christina. And it is an honor to be invited to have a conversation with Christina, who's a great healer. And my healing career, or my study of the healing art, started, I can say, when I was a child. And my grandpa was a bone setter in China. And his brother, I also call another grandpa, was an herbalist. So that herbalist grandpa would show me in the mountains how to pick herbs and which herb is for what. And so that made me really really kind of get exposed to the traditional Chinese healing art. And so that kind of was in my blood. And then when I was a teenager, one of my uncles studied Qigong, and he practiced Qigong healing on me, and that feeling of energy was, I can still remember it today. So it was phenomenal. So I started to learn Qigong from him, and then started to read about Qigong. And at that time, Qigong was also very popular in China. There were a lot of Qigong books and the exploration of the relationship between Qigong and modern science, and how to have Qigong, which was more a closed-door study art, to be accessible for the public. So there were a lot of books on explanation of the Qigong theories with modern physics, mathematics, etc. And one of my most important teachers, Dr. Pang Ming, who was a Chinese medicine practitioner, Western medicine practitioner, a martial artist, and Qigong master, who started to study martial arts and Qigong when he was 4 years old. And he studied from about 20 teachers, and summarized the traditional teachings, and also the modern science, and created his own theory. And so I read his book, and also other author's book on Qigong, and then that made me wanted to really explore the human body, the secrets of life. And then that led me to study medicine when I was at the age to enter college. So I went to the Chinese medicine college in a medical university, and then continued to practice Qigong when I was in a college. We actually had a Qigong association of 200 people, and we practice every day, every night. It's every night. So 200 of us in the campus, and so that was also a very good memory. And also, besides practicing Qigong for ourselves, we went to the nearby community to give them volunteer healing, free healing, Qigong healing. And the first patient, I worked with another two fellow Qigong practitioner in the association. We treated an old lady who was more than 80 years old, and he or she was almost blind. And we just did about 5 minutes healing. We did healing very short for each patient because there were so many people. And then just every 5 minutes, she said that, yeah, I can see better. And so that was amazing kind of miracle. And then we had a lot of miracle when we're doing the external healing. So that made me continue to really improve my confidence at the beginning stage of the study, and then we continue to stay on this route. So in my study of Chinese medicine, I studied acupuncture and herbs, and also I mainly actually focused on the Qigong continuous study. Then there was also integrative medicine practice in China, so definitely we practiced Western medicine. So that made me to be aware of both the physical approach in Western medicine and also the energetic approach in Chinese medicine, and also the spiritual approach in Qigong healing. And in Chinese medicine, we talk about spiritual healing, but in Qigong healing, we focus this so much more. Then after I finished my medical school and also continue to do some laboratory research on the healing effect of acupuncture, and then worked in a hospital with the integrative medicine approach. And then I moved to the US to start to teach Chinese medicine and Qigong and the Tai Chi, first in Austin, Texas, and then I went to New York in Pacific College. So that's where I met you, Kristina. And yeah, it's great to have a good relationship with you, and your work is so helpful for your patients. So that's so nice.
I love your story. I honestly didn't know the entirety of your background. I mean, I knew that you studied both the Western and the Eastern medicine, but I didn't know how deep into it you were through the family tradition, right? And I think the more that we can pass on to children these types of or that type of knowledge, it can really just benefit the entire planet, right? Like cultivating our internal energies and passing it on to future generations, and not letting the modern science is amazing. And like you said, you are definitely one of those people that integrates both viewpoints. But sometimes when we're just in the Western sciences, there is this tendency to view life as just completely material, and future generations get too absorbed with the material dense reality and forget that human beings are so much more. So thank you for sharing that. That was lovely. And so you spoke about Qigong a lot, and I practice Qigong and I love the Qigong practice. But to break down the word Qigong, can you tell me first, what does Qigong mean? And then I'd like to delve a little bit deeper into what is Qi in the first place, because many traditions talk about energy, Qi, prana, in yogic traditions and Hinduism. So can we just discuss that a little bit?
Well, Qigong, we could break these two words to talk about the Qi and Gong. And in a lot of articles that you can find online, then they might simplify it to say, oh, Qi is energy, Gong is the practice, so the practice on energy. But this is not a, or it is a simplified way of defining Qigong. And Qigong, this term actually has a short history. I mean, it just started to become popular and be used by people more since the 1950s. So it just has less than 100 years history of popularity. And before that, Chinese culture, Chinese medicine has more than 5,000 years history, and there were a lot of other terms to describe this type of practice. So this type of mind, body, spiritual practice, and the terms used in Chinese history, if we translate a little bit, there could be terms mean incantation and leading and guiding, breathing out, breathing in, and inner elixir cultivation and health cultivation, or Chen meditation or Zen meditation. So there were many terms to describe this type of exercise. And then all these type of exercises are based on holistic theory. So the energy is connected with matter, and energy is the other form of matter, and energy and matter, they are interchangeable, and then energy, matter, and also consciousness, information, these are very important. They are all connected in this holistic picture, so that we do not just talk about energy itself. If energy has a broader meaning, that if we say, okay, everything is energy, and then consciousness is energy, thoughts are energy, and emotions are related to energy. So that, yes, in that way, we can say, yes, Qi is energy, but then it definitely need to have that inclusion of matter, consciousness, emotion, thoughts, information, all these in it. So Qigong is the exercise to really have the mind to connect with this, or be aware of this holistic picture, this big picture, and not just the three-dimensional picture. It could be the 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional, even the 11-dimension, talked about in the string theory. And Qigong will help to improve both the physical health and mental health, emotional health, and very important spiritual health, which is the root of the physical, mental, emotional health. So that is my understanding of Qigong. And as for what is Qi, briefly I mentioned just now, like if we talk about energy is everything, then we can say Qi is energy. But we can also say Qi is matter. Qi is also information. And Qi also is consciousness. If we say consciousness and information are behind everything in the universe. Well, this is a concept the traditional Buddhism talk about, and then modern physicists now are also suggesting that information is more fundamental than matter and energy, and the universe emanates from the information inherent within it. So we can say that different plants have different matter, different energy, different information, and they may also have consciousness if you really think about it. And then each of us, human beings, have different matter, different energy, different information, different consciousness. And then in everyday life, we focus more on the visible matter, but with more practice of Qigong, we wanted to change our perspectives and go beyond, and then to really see the energy aspect and the information consciousness aspect as well.
Absolutely. So how can we cultivate this qi? Obviously, right, we practice Qigongs, but what does that mean? How do we talk about internal energy cultivation or tapping into the source or tapping into the information? How do we do that? If you have the words to explain that, because I know these topics are quite complex.
Well, if we say that qi include matter, energy, information, consciousness, or these concepts, these terms in modern language, then to cultivate, we need to cultivate from these aspects. And then how do we get the nutrients from foods, and how do we get energy from air, from food, and how do we get information from the social interaction, now social media and media. So the information consciousness, and these are all very important for us to get a qi, so that we wanted to cultivate the amount of qi, the amount of the nutrients, the amount of energy, the amount of information, thoughts, ideas, and those are all important for our health. And we wanted to expose to those and to get more of those. And then also choose the quality of the air we breathe, the quality of the food we put into our body, and the herbal supplement we put into our body, or superfoods we put into our body. And then the information, the thoughts we get from our eyes, from our ears, and from the interaction with other people, and then now with the explosion of information, then how do we choose which type of quality do we want, what we wanted to resonate with? And then especially with the current the advertisement or the algorithm in those search engine, based on your browsing history, then you will be fed similar type of information. And how do we get beyond that? And then we can be exposed to different type of information to have, again, a holistic picture, a big picture. So that is very, very important. And then to go beyond our 5 sense organs, and how do we tap into this source energy or the source information, the information energy, the consciousness that generate the universe. So that is the focus in Qigong practice, to go beyond our 5 sense world and to go beyond the 3-dimensional world. To do that, we have to listen to our 6th sense, feel our 6th sense, and feel the heart and help the inner voice to be able to manifest. So it is advised to keep a quiet, still time every day. So that it's like we eat every day, we sleep every day, and then we also need to have a period time every day so that we can go beyond the five sense world. Then close the eyes and then eyes look inward. Look at how life is unfolding inside us. We can say God is inside us, Buddha is inside us, the universe is inside us. So we look at the universe inside us and also listen inward. Listen to the vibration inside our body. Listen to our heartbeat and listen to our breathing. And if you can also listen to all the other cells that are constantly functioning, and then listen to the information in the space between the cells, inside cells, between all of the structures inside cells, the vast open space inside us. And also we can have the other sense organs like our nose, our mouth, and our feeling, and to all be connected with the inner universe. So that type of practice, hopefully by description, get an idea, and then it could be pretty easy, but it takes time to form a habit, and maybe take 100 days to form a habit.
Absolutely. That's a great point right here at the end, that it takes time. Because I remember when I just started doing these types of practices like Tai Chi and Qigong, and doing it on a daily basis, it took me years, depending on the practitioners that I was studying, like with you and with Master Yang that I also studied Qigong with. I feel like I was able to tap into these internal states with more ease. And then with other practitioners and different styles of internal cultivation practices and Qigong, it took me several years with that particular style to feel like the vibration inside of my body, to feel like the magnetic energy in my hands, and this almost like, it's, I don't know if I can even explain it, but it's like a boom, boom, boom type of feeling, right? So I guess I want to ask you, what types of Qigong or internal cultivation practices have you studied in your life? Are there different styles? Did you notice that maybe for yourself as well, it mattered who you studied with? So if you can tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I studied many different types of Qigong and Tai Chi martial arts. The martial arts practice started when I was in elementary school, and I was in a place where martial arts was very popular. Well, it was Hebei province, if you wanted to know the name, and that's where the master of Tai Chi and also Xing Yi, also some other martial art, external martial arts that you can also see in some martial arts movies that those masters came from. So Hebei is a place that people are familiar with martial arts, and in our school, the physical education was martial arts practice, and so we play with each other, fighting and using those martial arts movements, and then I continued to study Qigong with my uncle. That is one type of Qigong focus on healing. And then when I was in school, in Chinese medicine school, I practiced 智能 Qigong, which can be translated as wisdom Qigong or intelligence Qigong from Dr. Pang Ming I mentioned. And this is still what I focus on now. And also practice fragrance Qigong and the Heaven Earth United Qigong, and also continue the Shaolin Qigong, and then practiced all kinds of Tai Chi with different weapons. So the Yang style Tai Chi, Chen style Tai Chi, and Wu style Tai Chi, and Tai Chi fan, Tai Chi sword, and Tai Chi staff. Staff is stick, and sword, there's the straight sword or the broadsword. So all those practices are very fun, and they are focusing on different aspects of the martial arts or the internal cultivation, and then the martial arts application focusing on the strengthening of the tendon, muscle, bone, and it's also really a fun sport. But the Qigong aspect and also the inner cultivation aspect, that type of cultivation was my focus, because also I chose to study medicine and how to use it for healing. So among those Qigong styles, the wisdom intelligence Qigong really combined many theories together, and also focused on treating other patients with Qigong besides working on ourselves, self-cultivation, self-healing. So I spent a whole lot more time on that. And then in Austin, Texas, when I was teaching there, Master Li Junfeng also went there to teach his Shengzhen healing, or Shengzhen Qigong, which is focusing on unconditional love. And he combined this philosophy of love generates life, and love generates the universe, and then use love for healing. And then also the beautiful movements, the philosophy movements combination together. So that influenced me a lot.
So because you shared what different styles of Qigong and other inner cultivation practices you've done in your life, and basically resonated with one or two and continued to cultivate those, can you tell me and the audience, how does this inner cultivation help when we're treating patients or clients, right? Because you said it's important to do this work for ourselves, but it can be beneficial for others as well when we're practicing on someone else. How does that work? How does this inner energy cultivation help in the treatment of others, clients or patients?
So as a healer, when we are treating others, how does this cultivation help? So first of all, when we cultivate ourselves, we, as an energy body, we emanate different type of energy compared to those people who don't cultivate this. And then when we're treating patients, the healing results not just come from the physical connection, the physical movement, like the manipulation of the needle, but more healing result is from this invisible interaction with the patient. So what is in our mind as a healer? What's in the consciousness, subconsciousness in the healer? And then which kind of energy the healer, carry, and immanent, these are more important. Then when we see a patient, if we can actually understand them and our world is bigger and also can hold their world, then we can help them, we can give them a environment. It's like a field, energy field, consciousness field, and then this environment will give them some resources for them to be able to find out a solution for their problems, if it's related to some conflict, inner conflict, and some emotional, mental problems. And then we can also give them energy resources for the physical problems to transform. So this is super important to really be able to help give patient supply. And then we can also deliver the information to the patient to help them get onto a way, form a habit for self-cultivation, which is more important for the long-term healing, so that if they can start the self-cultivation, so we can be a model for them. And then they will know, okay, this works. I wanted to do that myself too, so that they don't rely on a magical bullet, and they don't rely on the just magical energy bullet in the treatment room, but then they can continuously tap into this energy supply in their everyday life. And that is critical for long-term healing.
So do you teach your patients or clients specific
Yes.
techniques then, so they can utilize it on their own?
Yes. For those people who are ready, then I will teach them. I will have a short time, maybe 5 minutes or so, to teach and guide them some type of practice, either focusing on more like a physical therapy, or it could be energetic cultivation, or spiritual conversation.
Very good. So do you think, in your experience, that there is a big importance on intention when it comes to healing, when it comes to even personal relationships and daily interactions with other human beings, that intent really matters?
Yes, we can say intention is everything. And how we guide our intention will make us to really achieve different things. And then there could be the conscious intention and subconscious intention. So what you wanted to achieve and what you really focus on, that's what leads you to do different types of things and achieve different types of things. And then here the most important thing is to have the conscious intention, the subconscious intention to be coherent. So how to listen to our subconscious mind, listen to our heart, the inner voice, instead of just be influenced by the conditioning of family and school and society, and then have these floating ideas. So everybody else is in this is trending, I will do this, but then deep inside, maybe I don't want to do this. And so recognize what our inner voice is, then have the subconscious mind and conscious mind to be coherent, and then have the heart and the brain to be coherent, so that when we think about something, yes, I feel happy. I truly feel that's what I need to do, wanted to do, and just to have the emotion and the thoughts to be coherent, and the body feels good instead of reluctant to do something, even though we set intention. So coherence and the synchronization of the body and the mind and the deep consciousness.
So in your opinion, do you think that then we are able to do this work even long distance, and even through this media now, especially with the world that we are living in now after last year, and we're using technology more and more, partially for good, partially for bad, right? Because we're so plugged in. But do you think that we can use technology to also help us spread this knowledge and with intention help others on their path to healing, well-being, and being more in touch with themselves and getting into that state of coherence, as you said?
Yeah, definitely. And we are all connected, and the universe evolving. We can say that the universe is conscious, and then the internet connection really make us understand we are all connected all the time. And then some people may talk about, okay, there's seems now no privacy, and then this is actually true even when we were not using cell phone and not using internet. We can say there is the universal record that every piece of information, every bit of information is in it. It's like a hard drive or a floppy disk that has all the information in it. And we are all connected to the time and the distance, and sometimes, well, we need to go beyond our three-dimensional world to think about how time, space actually work. And we can say information is beyond the time and space. So we could set the intention to pray for another person, and that works. And that prayer is also healing. And then if we also use our sense organs combined with that time, space, the information, all these comes together, of course it's easier. We're used to this configuration and this model. So we could use the internet and set time, and through internet we have good connection. We can actually feel the energy of the other person, and we can communicate so well to communicate the thoughts and information. And then this is actually more important, fundamental than the physical touch. And of course, physical touch has its own benefit. The physical connection is limited, but it's also concentrated, and the matter contains so much energy, and the physical connection sometimes will have help a lot of the energy transformation. But with just internet remote connection, or some before internet, people use a phone connect, and now we still can also use the phone when we actually hear some people instead of not being able to see them. And in the healing, energy, spiritual healing, information healing, sometimes we just use the patient's photo, just to use their picture, and then we can heal through use that as medium kind of to connect the healer and the patient. And even without all these, without the image and without the voice connection through phone and without using a particular picture image. And if we just actually think about something, set our intention. Now, let's think about our home. Let's think about our mother. Let's think about a friend. And immediately there's the information of that person in our head. The universe is inside us. So we're connected all the time. And then we just need to know how to shift the connection, shift the intention, and then the intensity of the connection, the amount of information we put in it. And that also takes a little bit of training, but everybody can do that.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, because I'm sure most people can relate to like thinking about a friend or someone like far, far away, and then that person contacts them out of nowhere, right? And
Yeah.
it's been happening to me more and more. I do have a few people in my life where that type of connection is just very strong and organic. I can think about them, and then immediately a few days later, they're like, hey, just wanted to check in. And I'm like, you heard me, I was talking to you. This morning, a friend of mine, she said, hey, just wanted to check in, how you doing? And an hour earlier, I was thinking about her wanting to check in. And so sometimes we feel like these are coincidences, but it's really that we're tapping into this universal consciousness and in this web of information. And so that intention really vibrates out through the space. So even without seeing each other or phoning each other in a physical space, we can connect with each other. I think the takeaway is that we have to start from ourselves. We have to cultivate ourselves first in order to be able to help others. Because if there is no personal cultivation, our energy sources can be depleted a lot easier, especially in interactions with others, because other people's energies can be overpowering at times. So that's why that inner work is so important. And thanks to you and some of my other teachers, I have been incorporating that into my work, into my practice. And I have seen really amazing results with clients and patients who meditate and do these types of practices for themselves, not just when they're working one-on-one with me, but outside of that. So that's why I like to give them homework. And when they comply with the homework, it works the best. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And really, this is all I wanted to talk about. I just want to bring more attention and awareness about this field, because it's so hard to be confined to the Western medical model of science research, right? Randomized controlled trials are like the gold standard for research. And I feel like, how do we use that format to study energy and intention? It's much harder than when we're using pharmaceuticals or even herbs, because that's something that we can control with much more ease. But hearing from people like yourself and people who are long-term practitioners and teachers, I hope that this message encourages people to do this work for themselves or to seek out teachers out there so they can continue to become more in tune with the rest of the world, the universe, and so we can really change the vibration of humans on this planet. And I feel like that's the only way we can really create long-lasting change, because as we see what's happening in the world, I think there's a lot of division and not too many people who are in that realm are actually practicing these things we're talking about, like Qi and Qigong. So I think the more people are exposed to this type of knowledge, and that they don't see it just as something mystical that's not attainable, but that everyday people can do remarkable things by really practicing on a daily basis. Change is possible, right? So I want to thank you so much for your time, for spending time with me today, sharing your knowledge and your experience. And you also teach online classes, weekly classes. Would you like to share that with the audience? Because I can put your website in the description below so people can find you in the online space and get in touch with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. We're having this conversation and making this video and spreading these healing information, and this is so beneficial for spreading the healing information. And I'm so happy to be able to work with you together and to help more people. And then my online teaching, it is on Saturday and also Monday. Actually, I changed the time to be Tuesday. It's Saturday 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Tuesday 8 to 9 p.m. My website is nycemed.com, and there's the class information. So if you have any questions, and you can email me at nycemed@gmail.com. And again, thank you so much, Christina, for having me here, and I would love to continue to work with you together to help more people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I will be posting the links to your webpage in the description box below. And again, thank you so much for sharing this space with me today. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in my next video. Have a lovely day.